It's February, the month of love. But here in AfriGO, all months are the months of love. And today I want us to talk to a young man all the way in Uganda who has dedicated his life to spreading this love to the people in Karamoja. Timothy Babweteera started a mission sending agency at 25, and he has been going in Karamoja, spreading the love of Christ with his team. Welcome to the conversations, Timothy.
Thank you, Mercy, for inviting me and having me here today.
We've had you once before, and now it's wonderful to talk to you and see where your bike has taken you since the last time we had a chat. Please tell us a little about yourself. How long have you been a missionary?
My name is Timothy Babweteera Nomwesigwa. I come from the very southwest of Uganda, which is completely the opposite side, diagonally from Karamoja, where I serve. I became a believer in 2002. Many years ago, I was about to sit for my primary leaving examinations as primary 7 for Uganda before you go to high school. I became a believer because they told us that if you became a believer, you would pass your exams. So it was kind of wrong gospel at that time. Yeah, I've been a missionary for 5 years now. Karamoja now. So it isn't a long time when you compare with some missionaries. You know, meet some guys and like being put down. I'm like, what? Yeah, but I've been a missionary for 5 years. Before then, I was serving in discipleship and mobilization for another 5 years. So this year I'll be making 11 years in full-time ministry.
So did you pass your exams after giving your life to the Lord?
Interestingly, I passed, but I went to my second choice school. I was really mad at God.
Well, here you are after all that happened, and we thank God they scared you into salvation, but well, here you are now, and you pioneered a missions agency to reach the unreached people in the north of Uganda. You know, as a pioneer of a missions agency, what inspired you to start one instead of going with an existing one?
I think there's a long answer and a simple one, but the simple answer is that by the time the heart to reach the unreached people was very hot with us with a couple of friends, because I actually started with a couple of friends at that time, was that we didn't know any other mission agency that was indigenous. And that time, the mission agency that we already only knew was the Africa Inland Mission. And at that time, they didn't have any structures for African missionaries. It kind of like led us to kind of like, okay, what do we do? We needed a platform because when we started, we began by just mobilizing for Kairos courses in our town. So we needed a platform. There was nothing at that time. So that's a simple answer. We started because there was need and there was no one.
What is the complicated answer?
Yeah, the complicated answer is that maybe the other version of the answer is that we needed to go. We were restless. We were very restless. I had done Kairos in Kenya actually with MCN. I think it is known to you guys. And at that time, I did Kairos when I was going through time. I was coming from a crisis of faith. I was thinking I was losing my faith and everything didn't make sense. Church didn't make sense. I had a lot of questions and God was starting to pick me up, and I was reading the Bible. I read the gospel several times and I was asking that one question, what is God really about? And that's when I entered into Kairos as well. And Kairos kind of added what I was seeing in the Gospels, like, you know, God is interested about redemption, is interested about the nations. So Kairos came at a time when I was like, yeah, this is what I've been reading in the Gospels. Like, so it kind of made sense. And actually, I remember I left Kairos and started reading from Genesis, and it just made sense because Kairos was like, it's everywhere. And I really came back and I was like, huh. And that gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning. I was like, now I get it. Now this makes sense. My salvation makes sense. My walk with the Lord makes sense. It's much more than just, okay, I'm saved, getting to heaven. So what's up, you know? So with that kind of time, After I think like a year, I went and did perspectives introduction from Kigali, Rwanda. So we came up when we were pumped up. We were young, and you kind of have that zest to get to do something, guys. We can't keep just praying and talking. We need to do something. If hell is true, if these guys don't have access to the gospel, we need to do more. People are doing kairoses and they go on with life as if, they're like, oh, they're rich people. People have never, okay, we don't know about that. And they're excited in the training and they're pumped up, but then they leave and just life continues as if nothing happened. I remember one day I just woke up at 5 to pray. To be honest, it wasn't my habit to wake up at 5 to pray that particular time, but I just felt the urge to wake up and come and pray. And it was like a strong impression, like, you know what, Timothy, if you never go, no one will ever follow. No one will ever go.
What was your greatest challenge?
I don't know how to answer this one, but from hindsight, from now, when I look back, I see where the problem came from. But I could also say what we thought was the problem then and what we think the problem is now, looking back. Okay. So I think then, of course, the problem was that they don't have the gospel, and stuff like that. Like we just went and it was like nothing, like, guys. And so I remember I was so mad at Christians back home. Guys, you need to come and do this. And my sister, who's really been gracious, was gracious enough to be kind of help me go back down and like, relax. People will see it, but I was ready to come and beat everyone to come into things, But because I really felt like it was like, guys, people are perishing, there's nothing happening and stuff like that. But looking at it now, and what I felt was the biggest problem, which I feel is now, was expectation. Going on the field with, you have different expectations on and also people have expectations on you. The Kama Jones had expectations on us. They still do. And it's something that started and still going on now. So you go and you expect somehow you preach someone and they will all become believers. All of a sudden it doesn't happen. You want to kind of, I remember I went to this one village called Popo because I first went to one town and these guys, that time was a drought and these guys were crying for water and stuff like that. And because I felt very helpless, I felt like this is too big. Even if I want to feed these guys, even if I want to solve their issues, I cannot. So to just come down to be like, no, you are not come here to be a Messiah. You've brought the Messiah.
That is interesting. We have a saying in Kenya nowadays, people say, on the ground, things are different. But on the ground, things are very different. Thank you for sharing that. That is amazing. What is the one rewarding thing you would say has been very fulfilling for you as a missionary in Karamoja among the Karamojong?
One of the first issues that I think that is very selfish, and that is I've grown a lot, spiritually, but even in other terms. And also too, we have planted 4 churches now, still very young, still very delicate. Yeah. People are becoming believers. That's why we came to do, to make disciples. So that has also been exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to more growth personally, but also looking forward to more people becoming believers, because ultimately that's what gives God glory.
Oh, beautiful! That is, it's good to actually recognize even personal growth. I don't think it's selfish really, because I would be very worried if you go as a missionary. And even spiritually, you are the same level that you were when you started and you are not sure of anything. So it's wonderful to hear of your growth. And now talking of hindsight, they say hindsight is 2020. Looking back at the things you did and how far your mission work has come, for someone who is going out as a missionary in a new field, what pitfalls would you advise them to avoid so that they can avoid some of the earlier problems that you had?
I think number one, I go back to like how I told you the biggest issue is expectations. And I think how to deal with that is, and we hear this, and by this has always been there, but you never really know how important it is until you start living it out. Like go with a learner attitude. And learner attitude is not just learning from the locals, but also learning from God, and also being open to see, okay, how different do I need to change this? How, like come open, just come with, open hands, and be willing to learn. Patience, just come with patience, the patience that takes you to learn, the patience that takes you to actually sit at the feet of Jesus, but also see, observe around and hear, and just be like, okay, what is it? What does that look like? Manage your expectations, be like, okay, I need to change my expectation here. I need to, refocus here. Maybe this is not what it is. That flexibility and that humility to be able to like, yeah, I came in with this expectation, but that's not what it is. To have that humility to be like, that's not what it is. So for me, that would be at least the one thing. Be ready to give and to submit to God when you figure out a new cost, to be ready to pay it. So to be like, okay, if you need another time to go back home and rest and reconcile, go reconcile and come back and pay it. But that's going to happen. So that's those two things is what I would say someone who's doing that. Be ready to pay the cost and be ready to learn. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you're making me laugh at things I'm not supposed to be laughing at. But we thank God for those lessons. I'm hoping someone who is thinking of going as a missionary, you will have expectations, but you probably need to lower them a little bit and be ready for surprises. If I hear you right, Timothy.
And actually, Mercy, I noticed that the things we thought would face, we have just faced like 20%. What they told us we'll face. That's why it's funny when I tell guys that those things they say, because there's a narrative that they've heard about this place, and we come and it's not there. Like, guys, what they are telling you about this place is not there. But what they have not told them and what they think shouldn't be here is what's there. And I'm like, and so that's kind of you coming to be ready to adjust your expectations to management, because you may think there's this and you find it's not there. They think the Kamajongs are very unfriendly. They are very friendly. They have no problem whatsoever. They actually they want you because, of course, they have expectation because they're ready to milk you. So that's another point. But out there, think, oh, they're going to kill you. They hate you. They have no problem with you. They're very friendly people. We go somewhere, even people I don't know, they come and they know us already from different towns. I'm like, how did you even know us? And yet when we were coming, the expectation was they're going to beat you. They don't like people. And so come ready to manage expectations. What you've been told may not be what you find, and what you think you're not going to find may be what you find. And some of it you will not know until you actually come to the field.
Wow. That is very good advice. Thank you so much for that, Timothy. And if there's a young man somewhere or a young lady who is looking at their context and they're facing what you are facing, there is no missions agency around them that can send them, and they want to start one like you did, what advice would you have for them?
Three things, right? One I've already said, just be ready to learn. But the first thing is that, man, just go ahead and do it. There will never be a perfect time or a perfect condition, perfect things to do it. I have a mantra that I use that helps me in mission, and I tell it everywhere, is that I tell people that I tell myself, and this is something that I use, that I've got to do what I need to do the work God has given me to do. But usually I find my peers and my friends and even people who seem interested in missions, like, but I don't have this. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and figure it out and ask people who have done it. If it's a skill, go get it. But you got to do what you've got to do what God has given you. If God has told you to go, and the issue, usually sometimes some people, I say issue is money. I'm like, sometimes that brings me to the second thing we need to consider. The second thing is the cost. Consider the cost. And I'm like, if your number one issue is money, there's a problem. And I was telling friends, I'm like, guys, we are going to go. And if it means asking money for friends, I will ask people for money. And I ask my friends for money. Guys, support me. And if it means that if that money is not enough and I have to dig, I'm going to go and dig and get plantain. But I've got to do what I need to do to bring the gospel to the lost, which is the task God has given me. So what is it that you need to do to do that? If you need to partner with people, just do like what is it that you need to do? Don't come and say, I am failing to do the work God has given me because of this. And so I'm like, no, like, and what have you done about it? You're saying you don't have food. Have you dug? Have you thought about, like, before you give up like that, like, have you sat down with God and in prayer and said, God, give me ideas? Of course, there's now talk of bivocational, it has always been there, sorry. There's talk of bivocational missions. Like, okay, be bivocational. For me, I'm not of the view of, oh, you're either full-time or bivocational. No, do what needs to be done for you to take the gospel. If what needs to be done is for you to get a job, get it. If what needs to be done is for you to talk to friends, get it. If talking to friends is an issue, there's a whole lot of fundraising material that can teach you how to fundraise. Get it, learn how to do it, and go out there and do it. But this, and actually it comes from this idea of, like, because I'm serving God and because I've given myself to God, things should be easy. Like the road should be easy and somehow God should be with me and yes, God is with you, but trust me, you have to figure it out like with him and say and do the actual work. No, the biggest issue that keeps bringing people not from the mission is not money. Mercy, it's not money. It is discipleship. It is us not counting the cost. It is us not saying, God, I want to do this. Help me. Be with me. If you're going to be with me, then let's do what needs to be done. Like count that cost. Go calculate very well. You can't expect that you're going to get your full funding. I know it's possible, but sometimes it takes time to build. You have to educate them. You have to disciple your own partners to what giving means, and that will take time. So by the time you have even consistent guide, that will take you like 1 year or 2 years. There's no perfect time. Trust. Maybe I may be controversial on this one, but let me say it. But like, I feel like people use, and this is important, but people start using this as an excuse. Timothy, I'm not prepared. And I look in the Bible and I feel like when people were being prepared, they didn't know they were in preparation. I don't think when they were inside, when the disciples were being discipled by Jesus, I don't think they knew in between there, but they were being prepared. I don't think David, when he was, going through that, he was lamenting, God, my enemies are around me. The guy had already been anointed as king. So for me, I feel like at every step of your life, you're being prepared. You're being prepared. Now, again, that doesn't mean if you feel you need to go and do maybe a course in theology or missions, you don't do it, but don't use it as an excuse. No. Let it be the thing that you need to do so that you can do the work of God, but not an excuse. But I'm not one of the excuses I used to use, and it's a famous excuse. Moses used it, Jeremiah used it, everyone uses it. I'm not qualified enough. I am whatever enough. I'm like, and there are some things I shunned leadership for a long time, especially when I started figuring out what it needs. Oh gosh, it was so hard. I'm like, God, I don't want to lead. And God was like, but Timothy, it's you who prays. Use me. I get to decide how I use you, And so I was like, but I don't have these skills. Get them. Get them. Grow. But you can't give an excuse that I'm not ready. No. Get ready. If it means that you have to sit under someone, and you realize your readiness, sit under someone.
Thank you for being very vulnerable and just sharing these things with us and honest and a little brutal. I love that. Yeah. That this is it. We don't have to beat about the bush and try to pamper Christians. Please. This is what the Bible says. If you're feeling the Lord guiding you to this direction, just do it. Thank you so much, Timothy, for that. And you were an absolute joy to talk to Timothy. It's just wonderful to have the chat and all the laughter. I appreciate this a lot. Do you have a last word for us?
Yeah, let's go. Whatever is stopping us, let's leave behind. Trust me, the emotions will go up and down. Let's go.
Thank you, Timothy. Timothy Babweteera and the Frontier Mission team in Uganda are going. So are you going? Let's go. Thank you so much, Timothy. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for talking with us. We appreciate this a lot.
Thank you, Mercy.